I'm Jessica. We're at the Akron Comic Con at the Rick and Dave's Comic Book Hour.
Hey, welcome to Rick and Dave's Comic Book Hour. I'm Dave.
And I'm Rick.
And this issue we're going to give our review of the Akron show, which throughout the show you'll see interviews and whatnots from the show, and we'll also show you a few comics that I picked up. And combination of the show and a sale I went to at Tom's Comics, Cards, and Collectibles the week before, so I couldn't remember which ones I got where, so it's just all in one big pile. So what do you think of the show, Rick?
It was a good show. It was a good show. They had a lot of cosplay there. Saturday was the cosplay contest. Had a lot of dealers, had a lot of guests, and you'll see throughout this how we walked around the show, and we'll show you that there was quite a bit of deals to be had because of this big stack of comics. You really got some good deals at the show, didn't you, Dave?
Yeah, I found a lot of half-off boxes and dollar boxes, and the most I spent on any one comic was $12, and that was on Amazing Spider-Man that I've been looking for, and cheapest prices I've come across, or Rick, he's been helping me look for it, and it's about 40 or 50 bucks, but we found one for 12 bucks. It's probably just as good as the $50 comics, so.
Yes, and we also had our press passes.
Oh yeah, we had press passes this show. That was cool.
But it was a good show. I went both days, and I had a good time. Dave went Sunday. And what was your impression of the show, Dave?
Well, we went to the first Akron show a couple years ago, and it was like any other first-time thing, you know, they were feeling things out. And wasn't able to make it last year, but this year, their third year, I think they really got their stuff together. And the show's gone to a 2-day show now, as opposed to just being a one, so everybody was pretty nice and had good deals on the comics, and had lots of, it was like going to a real comic book convention and didn't have any like Hollywood stars there. It was just all artists and writers that, you know, either worked on Batman or Spider-Man or even Captain America.
So it was a good show. And next year I hear they're going to go to a bigger building because the show is growing.
So yeah, that's a good thing for Akron, I think, getting a decent sized show there. So
yeah.
So one other thing Rick and I both sat in on was the Marvel panel, and they had Golden Age artist Alan Bellman in there, and he was probably the highlight of the show there a little bit as far as that goes. He's 90 years old, one of the early Captain America artists back in the 40s, and he had all kinds of neat little stories to tell us, and he knew Stan Lee, worked with Stan Lee before Stan became the man, I guess.
Yeah.
So that was pretty interesting.
So yeah, they had artists from about every age of comics there, just about.
Yeah, they did. They had Tony Isabella from the 70s, and they had Ron Friends, well, from the 80s, and Jerry Conway from the 70s, 60s, and 70s.
Yeah. So, I mean,
So
he probably wrote about almost everything, so.
Yeah. Yeah, I bought some Thor comic books I'll show you in here, and I was looking who wrote it. Jerry Conway.
So, I mean,
written about anybody and everybody, I think.
So yeah, it's weird how you pick up a book and he probably wrote it if you know, 70s especially, so he was all over the place.
Yeah. Wrote the Gwen Stacy's storyline that everybody's like, well, about. But,
I mean, the first show we went to, we felt that there were enough dealers and that their prices were too high. I think we complained about that the first time we went, but this time, since there were more dealers and more competition, we were able to get your dollar boxes and your whatever your half price off bins.
Half off boxes and stuff.
And there were a lot of nice wall books. I think I've seen almost all the keys there. You know, that somebody had a key there that you probably wanted. I mean, might not have been able to afford it, but it was there.
It was there, yeah.
So that was kind of cool. Well, I guess talking about that Golden Age artist, Bellman, right?
Mm-hmm.
Remember he told you what the first comic book he bought, or he was involved with, was Fantastic Funnies.
Yeah, the Famous Funnies.
Or Famous Funnies.
Famous Funnies. The very first comic book ever made was the first comic book he bought. He also told us the story when he bought this comic with a good guy with long blue underwear on called Action Comics #1. He bought that with his dime that was burning a hole in his pocket.
Yeah.
So unfortunately he doesn't have it anymore. And he said his son sold it to a buddy or something, so I'm not sure how
true that is.
true that is. But at any rate, he said if he still had it, he probably wouldn't have been sitting there at the panel.
But yeah, so he had some good stories. They all had good stories to tell. You know, it was a fun panel, and everybody was nice. You know, all the people that were involved in the show were nice people.
Yeah, even the first dealer we stopped at gave us donuts.
Yeah, we got donuts. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, we got donuts.
We got donuts.
They're like, we bought too many donuts. You guys want one? It's like, heck yeah.
So yeah, we took a donut, which helped us power our way through the
Yeah,
show.
it gave us a little sugar rush to start off today with.
There were a lot of independent artists there that were hawking their books and stuff too, and that was good to see.
Yeah, that's one thing I did like. There were several independent artists with actual comic books.
Yeah.
Instead of just most of these shows you go to anymore, it's a lot of pin-up artists, which is cool. You know, everybody's doing their 8x10s or poster size of their interpretation of whoever superhero, you know. But here's a bunch of guys I bought 3 different ones, so we'll probably talk about that some other time maybe, but after I read them.
Yeah.
But one set was the Twin Brothers, and that I got a book from, and then I picked up a Western from another guy, so. And Rick, he probably talked about just about everybody there, I think, at some point, it seemed like.
Yeah, I was talking to everybody.
He was making the rounds while I was out buying books.
Hi, my name is Mark Sumarek. I'm a freelance writer who works primarily for Marvel Comics, and I am one of the founders of POP, the Comic Culture Club. POP is a group that meets in the Northeast Ohio area, including Cleveland and Akron, and our goal is to bring together fans, retailers, and professionals in the comic book industry to talk about the things that we love. Our main goal is to share the things we love instead of bashing the things we hate. So really, it's a positive environment for people to come and talk about whether it's comics, movies, television, toys, whatever they're into. Just get to share that with a group of like-minded people and have a lot of fun doing so.
And thank you.
Absolutely.
But anyway, so
let's get to this big stack of books here, Dave.
Okay.
I'm sure they're all chopping at the bit about those. They don't probably really care about our comic experience. They want to see what you got.
Oh, okay. Well, now this is a combination of two buys here. So anyway, we'll start off with a Flash number 261. That's a guy called the Ringmaster, which doesn't look like Marvel's Ringmaster, but you know. And then we got an Action Comics number 441. Got some Flash guest star in there with Superman. Then I picked this one up just because how often do you see Superman in a dentist chair? I mean, that's just pretty crazy. He had a toothache in that story. Then here's my big buy of the weekend. Amazing Spider-Man 179 with the Green Goblin. Now, what do you know about this story, since I haven't read it yet?
You don't want me to tell you about it instead of you reading it?
Well, don't tell the whole thing, but the short of the long is, which Green Goblin
it's
is
the
that?
third Green Goblin.
Third Green Goblin.
Well, third person being the Green Goblin. I'm not going to tell you. Well, I don't know if you know who that person is. I do, but
Yeah.
you should read it. I think that's the last part of the storyline. I think it started in 176 and ended up in 179. I could be wrong, but that's the third one. I don't know. But like you said, that books for some reason was pretty expensive, and we were trying to find it earlier, but finally found it for a good price. What's the next one you got there, Dave?
Amazing Spider-Man 513. That fills in some holes, and then I picked up some Spectacular Spider-Man 235 and Sensational Spider-Man. Put the numbers in weird places on some of these books. I don't even see this number. Oh, there it is, 26.
26.
And then we got some Peter Parker number 11. Peter Parker number 10. And Peter Parker number 9. So, Got those all for $1 each. And Fantastic Four, number 92. You know how much I paid for that one? $3?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was a $3 book.
Yeah.
Has the Hulk versus the Thing in it.
Yeah.
One of their many classic battles.
Yeah, this is Marvel's Greatest Comics. That is. It's a reprint, so I think this is from the original Fantastic Four 112, I believe.
So then we got a Fantastic Four 209. And a Fantastic Four 237. And a Fantastic Four 234. 233 with the Human Torch. This is the second John Byrne issue. He started in 232. We looked it up the other day to make sure. And so then we go into 242. And this is the storyline where they battle Galactus. He comes back to Earth and they have to take him out. So there's 243. And then we have Frankie Ray becomes his new Herald in 244. And we move on up to a Doctor Doom story in 246. And I think I got a couple other issues, but Rick's reading them right now. So, and I picked up Avengers 110 with Magneto. Kind of a beat up copy, but I got it for $1. And then we got some Invincible Iron Man number 62. And number 84. Now this big stack, you getting bored yet? And 87. And we got Frankenstein and Invincible Iron Man 101. And I found some Captain Americas. So these were like $1 at the comic shop on his sale. So I got 172, a 175, and 186, and one with a big gorilla on it, and 135. Then we move on to some Thor, 271, 256, 370, oh wait a minute, 314, yeah, I'm not reading that quite right. 314, 313. Those, I read a couple of those are pretty fun. You got Thor flying around in some of these issues in space on a Viking ship, meeting up with aliens, and that's just pretty cool. We got some 261 and 260, and got some Odin beating up on Thor, or at least it looks like it, and 217, and Thor 218. And I filled in a couple more holes in my X-Men run, the Uncanny X-Men 157, and 165, and got a couple more Guardians of the Galaxies from the their Marvel Presents run, number 4 and number 11. And yes, that was my phone making that noise. So that's most of what I got, except for what a couple issues Rick's been reading. So those were Fantastic Four copies also. So plunked down some cash on those, but most of them were $1 books and up to $2 and $3 from most of them, except for that one Spider-Man. So got pretty good deals. Found a lot of half-off boxes, so you know some of them I'm paying $3 for a $6 comic or whatever. So that was pretty cool.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the show, and we'll talk at you later.
Alrighty, bye.
Bye.
Hey, this is Dave at Rick and Dave's Comic Hour. We're here at Akron Comic Con, and I hope you enjoyed the review that we're going to give the show later.
Hi, this is Marvel Eds, and I am with the Rick and Dave Comic Book Hour show, and we're talking to
Jason.
Yes. So today we're at the Akron Comic Con at the Quaker Station, and Jason has some great things to share with us about the Pop Comic.
Pop Comic Culture Club right here.
Yes. So tell us a little bit more about what you do and what you offer.
Basically, we meet twice a month up in Parma Heights at the Parma Heights Library. We do every other Monday. We are a group that has no bashers, no haters, No trolling allowed. It's all positive. We keep it on the up and up. It's easy to hate something. It means more when you love it. We have a website here you can check out that'll have all of our scheduled meetings. We also have an Akron chapter, which we meet once a month on the third Monday of every month at the Akron Library. And we are starting a chapter in Youngstown and one down in Springfield. So it's spreading like wildfire, people.
So if you're passionate about comic books, this is the guy to talk to. This is the guy to know. Okay, all right. Hi, I am Marvelette, and we are with the Rick and Dave Comic Book Hour guys. Today we're at the Akron Comic Con, and I am talking to Chris.
It's true.
It's true. This is him. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, I come from a long line of bad breeding. I was the best swimmer in my class when I first was conceived. And biology joke. Okay, do that. She writes for me. I write for The Simpsons, and I do a little work on SpongeBob and a few other things. But I'm the creator of Mr. Beat, my little beatnik character.
Okay.
I'm not self-promoting.
Here he is, Mr. Beat.
Okay.
Okay, so how do we find out more about Mr. Beat?
Well, you hit me up on Facebook, Chris Yambar, Y-A-M-B-A-R. You can also go to yambar.com, which is my drastically and violently out-of-date website with all my stuff for sale and rent and
We have
everything else.
connections.
Yes, we do. Most of them are PG-13 at best.
Great, sounds great.
Is that all you got?
I've got more. So.
Here, just keep it running. I'm a scoundrel. These are the many perks of my job. This is it. I love it. To interact, it's nice. I was in jail for interacting in public once. What?
How come you didn't get a comedy job?
I did.
You didn't take it on the road.
I tried. You know what they told me? Actually, professional comedians took me aside and said, usually we get up there and we do like 24 the same joke. You know, the same jokes every night. He said, you do 3-4 jokes, the same ones, and then you go into this crazy place, and you go into straight, it's all ad-lib, and we're all standing back going, what the hell is he doing?
Go into the zone.
Yeah, and he says, you start Lenny Bruce, and he says, and it's great, he said, but you shouldn't do this. I said, why? He said, because you enjoy your life too much, and you're going to end up becoming jaded like we are. They said eventually you'll learn to hate everyone, like all comedians do. And he says, and then you'll be mean-spirited, and you'll live for a heckler. And he says, we don't think you should become that. And he says, you're just too much fun.
What a great story.
That's when I left with him. I don't even know what that's about. Are you guys really going to air this? Really?
Yes. The Rick and Dave Comic Book Hour, you totally have to check it out.
I should watch
Not
it
for
once.
yourself, just for the girls that watch.
Man, if I'd have known that this was all going to be on there, I'd have worn my tube top. I would. I know, my Daisy Dukes.
Wow.
True story.
We'll just have to come back.
No, we won't. I'm done.
We'll have to revisit.
Agent! Medic!
You know that I could eat somebody. You know that I could eat somebody. Someone like you and all your flesh and how you weep. Countless lovers under cover of my scheme. You know that I could eat somebody.
Go ahead.
And even though my comics are closer to different ranges,
Next size up, it's size 60. The one that we're asking about is this one.
the same series. He was the main villain in that series.